so many people live, when I get this, when I get that, I'll be happy. You're happy for a minute. You get a new car, you're happy until the smell changes. You know what I'm saying? It's counterfeit temporary happiness. But you can actually sit and actually strike the mystic chord of memory or imagination and feel a degree of happiness, a degree of joy. You can feel that frequency and then train yourself to hang in there, while you're doing what you're called to do in the world. And then that vibration will reveal itself as doors opening. It will reveal itself as blessings and gifts and things of that particular nature. It's all vibration, you see. So you're not just attracting something to you. You're actually in resonance with it. And then that field of resonance allows for radiation to take place. You're radiant, and then there's emergence. So it goes attraction, resonance, radiation, emergence. The law of attraction is a linguistic convenience for resonance. And so if you hold the resonant tone, you start to radiate. So you're not attracting, you're actually radiating the answer vibrationally. And then something emerges. You become a condition for the emergence of good. The same way that if you plant a seed in the ground and the conditions are right, the seed doesn't attract a rose bush. The rose bush emerges from the seed. So in the same way, we have infinite potential, infinite possibilities within us. And as the right condition happens, then the next level of us emerges from that. It's already here. It's not out there. It's here. It's right here. It emerges from us. And people will say, oh, you attracted some good stuff. Yeah, but it was in here. It just became visible. You see, it's me becoming more me. And then because I'm living in this dimension of time and space, it condenses itself and shows up as form. You see, slowed down vibration. Yeah.
It feels like there's so much power in the detachment from that preference, because I think the Western mind can really love to latch on to what we're talking about here as a tactic to get things, instead of, if I source and realize that I am, the source of my own joy and happiness and kindness and grace, and imbibe these virtues, then I've become successful in that way, because it doesn't really matter, I guess, what the external circumstances are as much, because you've anchored that within your own being. And so it's just easy to view it as a tactic to get things, versus like, no, you got what you want, which is the feeling behind the thing in the first place.
Right. And then the things will show up.
Right.
But they may be better than what you even imagine.
That's what I've always...
Or they'll be legitimate. Like there's legitimate needs, and they're just things that we want.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's not, it's not, you're not going to go to hell because you want things, but you don't get cluttered with illegitimate needs. It's not necessary, Have the best of whatever you can get, but your happiness, as you said, is already here, you see. And this has been proven by many people who've been in dire situations, and they had an attitude of joy, even though they were in horrific situations. And then when they got out of that horrific situation, they realized they determined their own attitude. And then that carried them further in life.
It feels like the desires or dreams that we have can only be recombination of our past memories. So like, if I had a certain car, I want a really nice car. Or if I had an experience of certain, circumstances happen, it's always informing what our dreams possibly are. And I just really love the understanding of, if you're going to live in the surprise and mystery of life and the beauty and joy of how it's going to unfold, then it has to unfold greater than you could imagine.
Absolutely. You re-enchant the imagination so it doesn't get in your way. But the really great stuff is beyond your imagination. When I look at a lot of the things I've had the privilege of being a part of for the last number of years, none of those things are on my vision board. All the stuff, some of the great things I've had an opportunity, the great people I've had an opportunity to work with, I didn't imagine that, but it came as an outpicturing of who I was and the gift I wanted to share and how I wanted to be in the world. And I look back on it and says, wow, that was really beautiful. That was fantastic. But I didn't even know that existed. I didn't even know I could hang out with the Dalai Lama or something, you know what I mean? And we kick it and work with them 3 or 4 or 5 times, or he calls me and say, I need you to be in Aspen. Can you come today? Okay, sure. I mean, that was never a part of, a vision board, but
Right.
it was a part of my life, Yeah, it's some good stuff here. So you were saying something about the being affected by your past experience, and we want to live in a place where we're catching ideas from the idea sphere, but that's also within us. So this is why I teach people to ask, what is it that's trying to emerge through us in the vision process? Just to ask. And then your spiritual faculty will get ignited, and the universe answers every question you ask. But you'll start to get parts of yourself that want to be set free. You'll hear it differently. You'll hear it with your awareness, and you can trust it. You can trust your soul. Yeah.
I think arriving at that place where you're in this self-realized state, when you truly know yourself, you're living life as an expression of that kind of divine imagination and creation, seeing what wants to emerge from within you. Can you walk us again just through the 4 stages, as the baseline level is like the victimhood consciousness, that life is happening to me, and so much compassion for everyone who's going through difficult things in life. But this framework, I think, is really empowering.
Yeah, that came to me a number of years ago. But yeah, the first stage is the victim stage to me. Something's happening to me. The devil, God, superstition, circumstances, situations, the people I was born to, it's also not my fault. Whatever's going on, it's not my fault. And many people live in victim consciousness. You have a conversation, and they will basically speak about who's to blame, whose fault it is, why aren't they happy, this happened, that happened. And we're not denying that bad things haven't happened to people, but that's the consciousness that they're living in. And then through some way, shape, form, or another, grace, being sick and tired of being sick and tired, however it happens, we start to go to a deeper level of understanding that is called the manifestor stage, called by me. First one is to me. Something is happening to me. The second stage, something is happening by me. I begin to learn the metaphysical laws of the universe. My thoughts are units of mental energy. They transmute and produce experience. They produce perception that produces experience. There are certain laws. What I believe, as we talked about, even if it's not true, I'll experience it. When I used to do when I was going to college, I did a experiment. We used to experiment with people where we would take a book of matches, we'd light the match, blow it out, and then touch a person really fast with the cold match, and they would form a heat blister. And they said, "Why are you burning me?" I said, "No, we touched you with the cold match." And they follow me, and then we go to the next person, and they would see. So they were actually experiencing something that wasn't true just by their thought. So in stage 2, you learn about the power of thought. You learn about right conversation. People use affirmations, things of that particular nature, visualizations. It's just all happening by me, by my mind. And then stage 3 is through me. There's a power that is everywhere, a presence, a love, a beauty, an intelligence. It's everywhere. And the work that I've done in stage 2 to begin to clean up my perceptions, my thoughts, my beliefs, etc., something happens and this begins to flow through us more easily. It's feminine. So stage 2 is masculine. I declare, I decree, I visualize, I see it. I'm going to make this happen with my mind. Stage 3, I'm allowing, I'm letting, I'm being used by something. I yield, I surrender. And it's not surrendering to a negative circumstances. It's surrendering to life. It's surrendering to the next great version of yourself. And then stage 4 it's a state of being. I'm it. The line of demarcation, of separation has dissolved. So when you move to those 4, and those 4 stages aren't linear, because you may be feeling like a victim in one area of your life, but you may be a genius in another area of your life. So when you're coming out of victim stage, the power of forgiveness is very important. People that feel victimized have to go through forgiveness, or they'll stay stuck. And then once you have a modicum of control in your life, then to go from stage 2 to stage 3, you have to give up control. You have to realize this is an intelligence here that's beyond my intellect. And we start to yield. And then as we're more in flow motion, we're more in flow, we're more being used by life, then the last thing we give up is that sense of separation between us and life. Which again is difficult because in the Western world, primarily, we place the deity and God and all that way out there somewhere. It's like, I'm going to pray to God. I got to send my thoughts somewhere or something to that effect. So there's a sense of separation. But after you practice, you have meditation, introspection, you have pinpricks of awareness where separation dissolves. You're it. The wave is never separated from the ocean. It can't exist without the ocean. You cannot be separated from this presence. And so people have a tendency at this level to move back and forth between 3 and 4. But you still have the tools of 2. You don't get rid of those tools. You know when to bring them in. But you don't live primarily from those tools. In the beginning, you do, because it gives you good feedback as to the laws of the universe, that this is really happening. This thought is really producing this experience, you see. And then after that, you live primarily in 3 and 4, but you still have the tools of 2 to use whenever you need them.